Welcome, everyone. Are you ready to embark on a journey that could redefine everything you thought possible for your life? For over 6 decades, I've immersed myself in understanding the incredible power that lies within each of us and the fundamental laws that govern our universe. This isn't a quick fix or an overnight sensation, but a profound and ongoing study that, when truly grasped, can unlock the door to anything you desire. Get ready to pay close attention because what we're about to explore has the potential to change your life forever. My journey into this fascinating realm began many years ago, and it's a path I continue to walk every single day. This isn't just something you study once in a while. It's a continuous exploration of who we truly are and the immense potential we hold. As we delve deeper, you'll begin to understand why I believe that with the right knowledge and consistent application, you can indeed achieve anything you set your mind to. Consider the words of Neville Goddard: "You're only limited by weakness of attention and poverty of imagination." Let that sink in for a moment. This simple statement holds a profound truth that we will unpack throughout this video. I'm also reminded of a conversation between President John F. Kennedy and Dr. Wernher von Braun, a brilliant scientist and a key figure in the space program. When President Kennedy asked what it would take to send a person to the moon and bring them back safely, Dr. von Braun's answer was concise and powerful: the will to do it. That will Dr. von Braun spoke of is a mental faculty, a part of our inherent power. Our perception, will, reason, imagination, memory, and intuition. These are our higher faculties, the very essence of what makes us human, setting us apart from the rest of the animal kingdom. And Neville's statement about the weakness of attention directly echoes Dr. von Braun's emphasis on the will to do it, the focused attention required to achieve any significant goal. See, the will gives us the ability to concentrate. Whatever it is you desire, if you can truly think it, allow yourself to become emotionally involved with it, and maintain unwavering focus, you can have it. This is a fundamental concept, though not always the easiest to implement. But the more you dedicate yourself to understanding these principles, the better you will become at applying them. Let's revisit Neville's powerful words: "You're only limited by weakness of attention and poverty of imagination." We must actively engage our imagination. Too often, people allow their imagination to run wild with fears and anxieties, focusing on what they don't want. But our imagination is an extraordinary force. As Napoleon Hill stated in Think and Grow Rich, imagination is the most marvelous, miraculous, inconceivably powerful force that the world's ever known. It has the power to create anything, to take you anywhere, and to give you anything you desire. This brings us to the foundational principle, the law of vibration. Before we can fully grasp the law of attraction, which gained widespread attention through The Secret, we must first understand the law of vibration. The Secret was a phenomenon impacting hundreds of millions of people, and I was fortunate to be a part of it. But the law of attraction is built upon this primary law, the law of vibration. Where does the law of vibration begin? It starts right here, in your own mind. Your mind activates brain cells, and when these cells are activated, you impact the entire universe. Did you know that thought waves are cosmic waves that penetrate all time and space? As you delve deeper into this study, you'll realize the immense scope of these ideas. This isn't just about your individual life, it's about your connection to the very fabric of the universe. I believe that most of us have never truly been introduced to who we really are. Often, when someone starts to develop a healthy self-image, they are told they are being conceited. We receive a lot of misinformation that hinders our understanding of our true potential. But the law of vibration begins in our own marvelous mind. I highly recommend that you dedicate yourself to studying this. I've spent years simplifying complex material to make it accessible, and I had wonderful teachers who guided me. Consider these incredible words from Abraham Lincoln: "To believe in the things you can see and touch is no belief at all, but to believe in the unseen is a triumph and a blessing." Think about that. The biggest part of you, the real you, is unseen. We need to start understanding this to place it correctly in our minds. There is so much more to us than we typically realize. Our educational system often falls short in teaching us who we truly are. You can study psychology, but many who do never truly get to know themselves in depth, their relationship to the whole scheme of things, their connect. One man who profoundly impacted my life was Leland Val van der Waal. He introduced me to enormous ideas. Here's a slide of Val working at a seminar that he, Mark Victor Hansen, Jack Canfield, and I started. I came up with the idea on a plane, called Mark, and then we connected with Val and Jack, along with others, to create something called the $1 Million Forum. The idea was to teach people how to earn $1 million by establishing multiple sources of income. It was an absolutely phenomenal program with incredible teachers, a real mind-blower. Val, who is no longer with us, had such a significant impact on my life, guiding me towards things I never thought possible. He was the first to tell me those who tell stories rule society. Learn lots of stories, Bob, because you are a story. Think about that, you are a story. You are a massive energy functioning on frequencies. Consider that for a moment. You might not perceive yourself that way, but if you truly understand this, you can attract more money, all the money you want, in fact. You can attract good health, great relationships, and phenomenal business opportunities. I remember sitting on a sofa in a small house on Maplewood Lane in 1973, and I declared, I am going to build a company that operates all over the world. Mikey Stuller, who introduced us, is now our Chief Operating Officer and Marketing Director. Just a few weeks ago, she called me and said, Bob, I just got a call from Betty. We're in every country in the world. I had written that intention back in 1973. I was intellectually and emotionally involved. I was the company, even though I was alone at the time. That's what I wanted to do. If you don't know what you want, you'll drift aimlessly. You are a massive energy functioning on frequencies, and Val really helped me understand that. Val van der Waal had a strong spiritual understanding. He told me, Bob, if you take a picture of yourself with a Kirlian camera, you'll see yourself as a glistening, radiating, gleaming form. Simeon Kirlian, a Russian photographer, perfected this technique in 1939. Kirlian photography captures the energy emanating from mass. You can photograph a plant and see its vibration. Everything vibrates, nothing rests. Why am I telling you this? Because it's crucial for you to understand. Energy functions on frequencies, and that's what you are made of. Your body is a mass of living energy. A frequency is simply a level of vibration. There is an infinite number of frequencies. Remember when I said that thinking activates brain cells and sends off a charge of energy? Stay with me here. This is so important, yet often misunderstood. There's an infinite number of frequencies, each representing a level of vibration. Albert Einstein, a brilliant mind, stated, everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy, this is physics. This is what we teach at the Proctor Institute, the primary cause of the good you desire. Take care of the cause, and the effect will always take care of itself. Ralph Waldo Emerson considered the law of cause and effect the most important law in the universe, and he was likely very close to being right. Everything is energy. Match the frequency of the reality you desire, and you will inevitably experience it. This isn't just wishful thinking, it's a fundamental principle of physics. Earl Nightingale echoed this sentiment in 1959 with his Strangest Secret recording. At the beginning of that recording, Nightingale recounts an interview with Dr. Albert Schweitzer, who, when asked what was wrong with humanity, replied, "Man simply doesn't think. We do not think. Mental activity is not the same as thinking. Your 5 senses cause mental activity, but that's not thinking. If you hear a siren, you might picture an emergency vehicle, but that's not thinking. We possess higher faculties: perception, will, reason, imagination, memory, and intuition. These separate us from the animal kingdom. Animals are at home in their environment, while we often feel disoriented. This is because we have been given the godlike ability to create our own environment." Charlie Tremendous. Jones believed we are the composite of the books we read and the people we associate with, and I tend to agree. Listening to Earl Nightingale's Strangest Secret had a profound impact on my life. It led me to two men who became my mentors as I worked closely with them. In 1966, I visited them, determined to learn from them. What they taught me helped me understand how I had achieved what I did. Ray Stanford sat down with me and drew an R on a piece of paper, followed by H, H, and W. He explained that R represented results, and the two H's and W stood for happiness, health, and wealth. He asked if I thought he was happy, healthy, and wealthy, and I had to admit that he seemed to be all three. Then he told me in 1961 that I was one of the most miserable people he had ever met, always sick and broke. He was right. I was earning very little and deeply in debt. At the time, I had limited formal education and no business experience. I had worked various manual labor jobs. No wonder I was unhappy and broke. Ray asked if I ever read, and I admitted I couldn't. That's when he introduced me to Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, explaining that Hill had studied hundreds of successful people and found a golden thread running through their lives. This led to Hill writing The Laws of Achievement, a set of 8 little books, at the request of Andrew Carnegie, who lamented that so much knowledge was lost when successful people passed away. Think and Grow Rich emerged from this work, and it became my primary focus of study. Within a year of studying these principles, my income soared to $175,000. At the end of this presentation, you'll receive a directive, and I urge you to listen carefully. I have my goal written on this gold card, which I carry in my pocket. Every time I touch it, the picture in my mind flashes onto my mental screen. I painted that picture in words on the card, and it's embedded in my brain. That's how I went from earning a meager amount to achieving significant financial success in less than a year, with no formal education or business experience. Within 5 years, I was earning over $1 million a year, with businesses operating in multiple cities and countries. If you had asked me how I did it, I wouldn't have had a clue at the time. I've since learned it was through the repetition of these principles. Ray told me that if I read Think and Grow Rich every day, my life would change. I committed to doing so, and for some reason, I've maintained that commitment for decades. Every day, I open the book and read something, wherever it happens to fall open. Remember that all who succeed in life often start with adversity and face many struggles before achieving their goals. The turning point often comes during a crisis, which introduces them to their other selves. That's inspirational to consider. By 1968, I became their vice president of sales, something I had written on my goal card. I wanted to work alongside them, and I had an office right next to theirs. Earl taught me something incredibly valuable: the enormous difference between knowledge and experience. He explained that before I joined their company, they observed me and recognized a strong quality they needed. He emphasized that reading a book gives you knowledge, the ability to talk about its contents. But experience is entirely different. It's when you've done it, so you don't just think the information is right. You know it's right. What I teach in my programs isn't based on wondering if it works. I know it works. I'm approaching my late 80s, and I feel like I'm just getting started. We operate globally and generate millions of dollars because we share powerful information that I've not only studied but also lived. It was only after achieving a certain level of success that I truly sought to understand how it happened. I was earning a significant income, perhaps even irresponsibly, yet I couldn't fully explain my transformation. I knew I wasn't simply lucky. I had been raised to believe that high earners were exceptionally intelligent, which I knew wasn't the case for me. I had also been taught that without formal education, a good job was unattainable, yet I owned a successful company. I made up my mind to discover the reasons behind my life's dramatic change. During a review meeting with Catherine Washapple, a consultant for our company, she stated, "I believe success is 5% strategy and 95% mindset." I had never heard that before, but I intuitively knew she was right. It's all about the mind, your marvelous mind. As Val van der Waal taught me, it's all in awareness, Bob. He spoke of a marvelous inner world that exists within us, and the revelation of this world empowers us to achieve anything we desire within the bounds of nature. This is vital information. I've never truly studied finance. I'm not a financial expert. Yet I've earned millions because I believe it's one of the easiest things to do. However, managing money is a different skill, one I'm still learning. But as Einstein said, if we get the picture and align with the energy of our desires, manifestation is inevitable. Around 15 years ago, a securities attorney named Sandy Gallagher attended one of our seminars. She became fascinated with our teachings. One thing led to another, and Sandy became my business partner. Sandy is a true financial genius, having bought and sold banks and taken companies public. Here I was, knowing little about finance, and I attracted the perfect business partner. This allowed me to focus on what I loved doing, knowing our company was in capable hands. Sandy now serves as our CEO and president. Why am I sharing this? You must become aware that you can and will attract whatever you need to bring your mental images into reality. There is a marvelous inner world within us, and its revelation enables us to achieve anything within the limits of nature. This truth was taught to me by Val, a man I deeply miss. Val also introduced me to a powerful drawing. He said, "Bob, let this represent you." He drew a large circle representing the mind, with a horizontal line dividing it into the conscious mind, the top half, and the subconscious mind, the bottom half. You've likely read about this, but it can often be confusing. One of the best books on the subconscious mind is Dr. Joseph Murphy's The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, a phenomenal resource. Val explained that when you think of yourself, you have an image. The mind is everything in your life, and you'll learn how to work with it. He then added a positive and a negative sign, representing the law of polarity, the law of opposites. Power flows into your conscious mind, and from this power, you create thoughts. You can originate entirely new thoughts. It's the thoughts you think in your conscious mind that you impress upon your subconscious mind, which then causes your feelings. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. These feelings are expressed through your physical body, leading to action and producing results. Getting them all aligned is what we call attitude. Some people focus on the negative, finding what's wrong, and they are always right. There's always something wrong. Others focus on the positive, seeing what's good, and they are also right. You can find what you seek in anything. There is a power flowing into our consciousness, giving us the ability to think anything we want. It's our thoughts, fueled by emotion, that drive our actions and create our results. This drawing is incredibly valuable, yet often misunderstood. Val further explained that the conscious mind is your thinking mind, also known as the educated or intellectual mind. This is the you I'm talking about. As we continue, you'll gain a deeper understanding of yourself, the world you inhabit, and the laws that govern your being. As your self-awareness grows, your finances, health, and relationships will improve. Your entire world will become better. The educated mind houses the intellectual faculties, perception, will, reason, imagination, memory, and intuition. These 6 are our mental muscles. As you learn how to develop them, you become a very powerful person. If you've attended my seminars, you know I can often discern things about individuals simply by observing them. This is due to the intuitive faculty, which allows you to read people. We hide nothing. I often demonstrate this in seminars to capture attention, but my real intention is to show that if I can do it, you can too. We are often fascinated by the abilities of others, and we must understand that if they can do something, we also have that potential. The subconscious mind is your emotional mind. When you experience emotional upset, it indicates that incorrect ideas are being fed into that part of your mind. Because you possess the ability to think, you also have the power to choose, to accept or reject anything that comes your way. There's a constant influx of information, some of it negative, through various channels. You have the capacity to filter this information, accepting what serves you and rejecting what doesn't. Furthermore, you have the ability to originate your own thoughts. The subconscious mind, however, lacks these abilities. It must accept whatever you impress upon it. It has no power to reject. And crucially, what you impress upon your subconscious mind ultimately manifests as results in your life. This is where we need to engage our imagination in high gear. Your subconscious mind cannot differentiate between what you vividly imagine and what is real. Unfortunately, most people tend to imagine what they don't want rather than what they do want. Consider this: information is constantly coming at you, and much of it can be negative. It flows into your conscious mind. You have the power to think and reject this information, but most people don't. Instead, their subconscious mind remains open, and this negative information goes straight in. Remember, the subconscious has no ability to reject. Why do we leave our minds open to such negativity? It's due to our paradigms, our ingrained programming. The formation of paradigms: early programming. 1 hour, 20 minutes to 1 hour, 26 minutes. Let's look at how this programming occurs. Imagine yourself as an infant. Your subconscious mind was wide open upon your arrival. Whatever language was spoken around you, that's the language you learned. If multiple languages were spoken, you learned multiple languages. Everything, the love, the hate, the prejudice, was programmed directly into your subconscious mind. As the saying goes, a person has to be taught to love and hate. This programming often happens before the age of 6 or 8. A child's mind is wide open, undergoing constant programming. First, there's genetic programming, which determines physical characteristics. Then, there's environmental programming that occurs over the 280 days in the womb and throughout early childhood. Years later, we operate based on these ingrained paradigms. People accumulate vast amounts of knowledge, but often fail to act on it because the paradigm is in control. The paradigm is something most people don't understand, yet everyone should. We gather an abundance of knowledge, but much of it has little impact on our paradigm. Consequently, we often don't do what we already know how to do. I maintain that everyone listening to me right now already knows how to at least double their income. You might doubt this, but trust me, I've worked with countless individuals and seen this principle in action. We often possess superior knowledge but achieve inferior results, leading to confusion and frustration. Make sure to subscribe. Thanks me later.